Bart, Steve, welcome back on the channel. Hope you guys are having a good day as well. Hope the community is having a good day. It's been a long time since we've been live. We decided to go live, update the community, specifically my community, on what you guys have been building over the last 6 months. It's been 6-7 months, I think, since we last went live. Give these guys an update as well, because I know you guys have quite a few different updates launching this month or starting in February as well, I think it is.
Yep, 100%. So first of all, thanks for having us back. Good to see you again. And for those who don't know, me and Bart thought we were live 10 minutes ago, so we've already been doing a whole update. And then Crypto G says, "Oh, guys, you're not actually live yet." I'm like, "Okay." So we're more than happy to go over it again. Then... But obviously, always had a great relationship with yourself. Bart was in the flow, but no, we've always had all jokes aside, we've always had a great relationship with yourself. You have an amazing investor community. Big chunk of one of the private rounds obviously was from yourselves. Can't wait to kind of update your community with what's been happening. And as we were all saying backstage, and as you were saying, Crypto G, it's been tough, not even just from a project point of view, but as you say, from a KOL point of view, from an investor group point of view, you've been feeling it. Everybody's been feeling the effects of the crash that happened at the end of last year. But as we say, we always look at the glass as half full, and it is always tough when the crypto market has a bit of a negative impact. But on the positive, it also filters out the real projects from the projects that are just there for quick money, the projects that are just there for certain pumps and so on and so forth. So that when you see the founders, the partners, and the communities and the actual projects building real companies, is what we're doing, at least it gives us more time to shine, because there's a lot that's going to be happening. It's going to be launching at the end of this month, launching next month and beyond, which we'll go into. So yeah, can't wait for this year, and can't wait to update your great community with what we've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, let's just go into what you guys got coming up very, very soon. I think it's the layer 1 launch, is it?
Yeah, so we got a couple of things coming up. So obviously, in the past months after the arrival of Steve Craggs as our Web2 CEO, the former CEO of Remixing Little Wheels, we've done some internal restructuring shortly after launch, after he joined. So obviously he brought in his own team. We got some, we set up some new SPVs in new countries, new legal structures, switched out German structure for new structure. We've just been working round the clock to be able to make sure that we have the very best, the very most efficient model, obviously with his own team that he brought in as well, some changes within our internal team and our internal structuring. And that got us now to this point, which is quite exciting for us. Obviously, there's a lot has happened, but we're almost at the end of January, where we're launching the beta of our L1 chain. Also, RWA pad, our launchpad, of which also 20 to 35% of the revenue, of which is raised from the project raises, etc., etc. From that revenue, 20 to 35%. Is going to be used for ESX buybacks as well. And then around that time period or shortly after, the payments for also our property sales are going to open up. So for the Sky Villas, for example, which was fully reserved, sold out when we launched the platform last month, is going to open up, and we have some news. Steve Craggs has some news about that very, very soon. So very exciting stuff happening with us. A lot of major developments are going to be happening. I remember that last time when we had the platform launch, which was at the beginning of last month, price surged around 80% or something like that. And yeah, we have a lot of great stuff coming up now at the end of the month and in the coming weeks, and then we're going to be rolling out more and more where you're going to see the ecosystem live. So yeah, it's an exciting time for us.
100%. And it's like, as you know, being with us near the early stages of the journey, we told you that we started as just doing tokenized real estate. Now, obviously, us branching out into doing our own blockchain, our own layer 1, layer 0, it completely changes the whole landscape. Even when we're speaking to certain VCs and institutions ahead of launch, they were saying to myself, they're saying to Bart, like, guys, you need to change your market cap, you need to change your FDV, your valuation, because if you look at other blockchains now, beyond the tokenization, it's much bigger than you guys, 10x, 15, so on and so forth. But we wanted to keep the low valuation, low FTV to give our investors, your community, our community, great upside. So the positives to obviously the market and the chart being where it is at the moment is, and the fact that we only just launched 2% of the ecosystem, as Bart mentioned, there's so much upside to come. So as Bart said, really exciting times.
Yeah, definitely. I would say, in terms of a lot of, in terms of RWA itself, there's not many layer ones. I think we had OM, but you know what happened to OM, but there is not a lot of layer ones. We have Ondo, but that's kind of like the big one in RWA, and apart from the other ones, a lot of them are just on Ethereum. So I think, just having the layer one itself is quite massive as well, because I know you guys are going to potentially do, every single project that comes onto the launchpad will have a StateX pair as well. So that obviously brings in revenue and brings a lot more demand and token utility for the project as well, correct?
Yeah, and I think that's also I think that's also one of the exciting things also, that a lot of projects that are going to be raising on RWA, because a lot of, from a project owner perspective, we can be realistic now. It's going to be harder and harder to raise for projects. It's just the state of the market, because it's not 2021 market anymore. So only the real strong projects are going to be surviving, and that means that the real strong projects, only the real strong projects are going to come onto RWA pad, and them having to do something with our ESX L1 chain. So we're obviously already integrating then RWA projects onto the chain to be building on it, but also to have an ESX pair, bringing their audience in that they have already built. And obviously, our users having to hold a certain amount of ESX, and then also 20 to 35% of the revenue that the Launchpad makes is used for buybacks. So yeah, there's quite some that basically feeds into ESX revenue for the company, but also to generate a positive effect on ESX. So yeah, a lot of aspects to that. From audience building to new projects coming on to pairs to revenue. So exciting stuff on that front.
As you mentioned, CryptoG as well, that really good point that, and we say this all the time, there's a massive gap in the market for the leader in RWA space. There's not many massive authorities in the RWA space, not many L1s, and not many people that have actually claimed that spot. And we believe with the foundations that we have, with the team, with the community, with the infrastructure that we've been building, and then now launching our blockchain, launching the RWA Launchpad, one of the first launchpads that's just dedicated to only quality RWA projects. And as Bart mentioned as well, we've got the AI ESX token, and that's going to be supported by the AI tech, which is the property agent. It's going to be buying and selling and doing your property portfolio as well. That's going to be attached to the token, and all of these things, the blockchain, the AI ESX, and also the launchpad, all of that is going to be flowing back into the ESX token as a utility, as buybacks as well. So there's just a lot that we're going to be doing, especially from a marketing point of view, and also from a business development point of view, that's going to be edging us forward to being that one of those main authorities, and eventually becoming the main authority sometime this year for RWA. And we understand obviously the journey that we have. We understand what's in front of us, but we're quietly confident with the team that we have and everything that we have in place. And you guys are going to start to see some big shifts over the next couple of weeks, starting with the end of this month. We're actually going to be launching the beta version of the blockchain, which is going to be a huge milestone. Then shortly after that, we're going to be launching the mainnet of the blockchain and bringing in the real world Web 2 as well as Web 3 into the blockchain as well. There's lots of things that we have planned for this year that we're doing that we haven't seen the crypto market do before and haven't seen RWA do before. And we believe that this is the next progression that RWA needs to bring the real world into RWA, not just keep it purely techie, geeky, crypto focused as well.
Yeah, I think that's important as well. You do kind of need that Web 2 aspect as well, just generating the revenue, because in the Web 3 space, the revenue kind of depends on how well the crypto space is doing. So, and I see this with a lot of projects. When the crypto space is down, their clients kind of go down as well. And then when the crypto space is up, more people get a little bit more interested. The on-chain and all that kind of stuff increases, so the revenue goes up. But, I think you definitely need that Web 2 aspect as well to keep the project running for the long term, I think.
100%. I mean, obviously property is where we're starting and is always going to be our bread and butter. But we're in talks with major commodities, whether it's gold mines, whether it's diamonds, whether it's certain commodities, but it's also musicians, multi-platinum selling music artists, up and coming unsigned music artists, sports teams, sports leagues, sports players, sports individuals, people that actually want to take control of their careers and tokenize their careers. Take the music industry, for example. It's no secret that, you know, a lot of these record labels can be quite shady. And, you know, some musicians call it almost modern day slavery as well with some of the contracts that they go into. As a musician, you don't really have much choice. But now with social media, now that you have the, you know, everybody's on their phones and your phone is that platform, you can actually get yourself out there as a musician. So there's massive, massive opportunities for musicians to tokenize their albums, to tokenize their tours, tokenize their merchandise, and actually take control and turn their fans into super fans. So now when their fans are buying the albums or watching the teams, when that person charts #1 or that team gets promoted or that team as a business or that franchise does well, you make money with that artist's career. You make money when that team progresses as well. You make money when you see that kid playing football when he's 13 years old and you know he's going to be the next big thing, and you can actually invest into his career. These are the sort of foundations that we're putting in place. These are the sort of things that we're going to be doing later on this year. And this is just really, really exciting, because even if you take one of the big music artists that we're speaking to at the moment will have tens of millions of followers, then if they're actually tokenizing their albums, their concert tours on the blockchain, look at these tens of millions of new users from Web2 that's now coming onto our blockchain as well. So when we say we're bringing the real world into RWA, because as you know, everybody understands that it stands for real world assets, but we're still seeing everybody just keeping it in the Web3 world. And unfortunately, the real world isn't just Web3, it's Web3 and so much more than that. So we are obviously very, very focused on Web3, but we have a massive, massive focus on the Web2, bringing the real world into that. And it's just something that we're not seeing. And we're just seeing a massive gap in the market for us to really take control of that spot. And as we mentioned on the AMA a few days ago as well, it's so early for RWA. Everybody in crypto and in Web3, we feel like we've been around RWA for a couple of years now, because we have, and we're seeing it peak and so on and so forth, what we would see as a peak as a Web3 person. But in the real world, RWA is still super early as well. So yeah, really exciting times. And yeah, we're laying down the foundations to be positioned correctly.
Yeah, I think that's what's most important, because even in the Web3 space, like, I mean, the Web2 space, a lot of these banks are still slowly starting to implement or talk about tokenization, like JP Morgan, Vanguard, you know, BlackRock, and these are the companies that actually change the direction of, you know, whatever it is, a technology, or, you know, because when they invest in it, everyone kind of follows the lead. So and RWA is, you know, forecasted to be a $36 trillion, you know, company or asset, let's say. Right now in the crypto space, I think I checked the numbers yesterday. It's only, I think, less than 300 billion. I think that's been tokenized on Web3. You know, so that just shows how early people actually are in the tokenization space. And I think later, as we go down 2026, potentially into 2027, I think tokenization is really going to start to pick up. Like the same way AI picked up, you know, from 2022 onwards. I think tokenization is going to have that boom as well, very, very soon, in my opinion. Would you guys agree with that?
100%. 100%. Go ahead, Bart. You're on mute.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, you know what I mean. It's not a coincidence that, you know, all these banks are laying down these, you know, infrastructure pipelines for RWA and especially for tokenization. You know, because it is the future, and it makes the whole financial industry as a whole, but also all these individual processes of being able, you know, liquidity, easy transfer, ownership records. It makes everything a lot more efficient. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people know the benefits of tokenization, and especially our community knows it. They don't have to hear me, you know, rattle all those things again. But you know, it's not a coincidence, and you know, the industry is growing bigger every year, and it's just one of those things that is just inevitable. It's not a matter of if. It's also not a matter of when. It's just a matter of like how fast is it going to pick up from now on, and it's already, you know, pretty fast and pretty accelerating. So yeah, us as a StateX being able to contribute to that industry as a whole, the giant industry as a whole, you know, $36 trillion, which is a massive incomprehensible amount of money, obviously, and us being able to just, you know, throw a dent in the water, or capture a little bit of the ocean that we have, you know, get a couple of buckets, you know, being able to, you know, deliver the infrastructure, the pipelines, helping these projects, tokenizing these assets, putting them on chain, getting great opportunities for our community of investors. That's currently what we're focused about. So yeah, exciting stuff, great industry, industry with massive amount of potential that's still in the baby shoes, as we always say. So yeah, right place at the right time.
100%, and it's getting quite surreal now as well. Like we've let our community know that we've been approached by, and also have approached and successfully, governments now, and we're actually in talks with governments about tokenizing assets, tokenizing properties, tokenizing other things. Probably don't want to say too much, but even way beyond properties. And these governments now are really seeing the future of tokenization. They're really seeing why these big companies like BlackRock and Vanguard are getting involved, and they want to get involved. They want to get ahead of the curves, and we're in talk with their innovation departments, and they're really, really open to tokenization, and they're throwing ideas, and we're brainstorming the best ways for us to be able to get started as well. So when you know on a government level that they're actively seeking it, and you know some governments have approached us, we've approached other governments, and they've you know, continued the meetings and obviously continued the talks, it's really, really positive sign.
I would definitely agree. Yeah. In terms of, you know, what's next for you guys in the short term, you know, after the because I know you guys are launching the layer 1. Is there going to be some sort of migration as well that people have to do in terms of the token holders? Just wanted to.
Yeah, so first of all, it's going to be the beta release. So it's not the mainnet, but it's the beta of the mainnet. So what our CTO Graham, amazing guy. We've done Steve and Graham have done an amazing AMA a couple of days back. Make sure that you watch that if you want all the ins and outs on the L1 chain, because it was an amazing AMA, great energy, and it just lays out the plans and the foundation of what we want to do in 2026. Answer a lot of community questions as well. But basically, we're going to be outrolling this wallet system that we've developed of the ESX wallet, and also the validator system, where validators are able to contribute to the overall development, but also to the system as a whole. First of all, there's going to be an eventual migration, but this is going to take some time, obviously, and we will also keep the pairs on that we have right now on base, just because it's such a huge community there, and also obviously we have a Sol pair, so we'll keep those pairs, and the migration that will there be as well. Obviously, you will hear all about it, and Graham will tell a lot more about it. But we have this CPR wallet that people are going to be able to interact with and use. So we have something special planned for the beta that people can also feel and touch what we've developed, instead of just saying, hey, here's the L1 and make a transaction.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's going to be some cool stuff around it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important as well. Go on, Steve. Sorry.
No, 100%. And just to add to your question, obviously we have the layer 1 beta launching at the end of this month, and then we also have the RWA pad platform launching at the end of this month, where people are going to be able to go and set up and register and interact. And then shortly after, we're going to be launching the first projects on the RWA pad. And then, you know, after that, we're going to be having the AI platform, Homie AI, and the AI ESX token as well. So lots of great things happening, as well as us starting to be ramping up the marketing side of things as well, and hopefully be able to announce some business development partnerships very, very soon as well. So starting from the end of this month is where you're really going to be seeing some shifts in terms of technology, in terms of pillars, and you know, the growth and expansion of the real company, as well as obviously things that we're going to be doing with the token. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's I think because when you guys launched, there was quite a few people that I know specifically, you know, they're like, you guys worked on everything, the concept's there, but we haven't really seen any actual product, you know, apart from the tokenization. Now that we're actually seeing it, you know, I think that's a huge step for you, a huge big step for you guys as well moving forward, because, you know, once you launch one, the others will come. I think the most important one is actually the layer 1, and I think once that's out, very, very slowly, everything else will come into place as well, in my opinion. So I think that's a big step, and I think that's a good update for my community as well.
No, thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, the layer one puts it in a completely different category. And obviously, there's going to be massive marketing. We're waiting for the layer one to be, ready so that we can actually even ramp up the marketing even further. It's one thing having lots of new people coming and seeing that we're tokenized real estate and we are talking about doing this, but because there's so many talkers in crypto, we want to show that we're walking the walk. So obviously, it makes sense for us to really direct a lot of attention to what we're doing and get that growth when we have, some of these pillars in place, which is going to be happening very soon. So now we feel, in our humble opinion, that the ESX token is heavily discounted. So if there's any time for anybody to do their research and to accumulate, not financial advice, but obviously now be a very interesting time to look at that.
Yeah, especially when the market's so dead right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think the whole vision of us, having this in a very short period of time now with the product launches, just building on what you said, G, is basically that, if you have this investment platform which is live, people are able to buy immediately into properties, get the property tokens, and then at the same time we have RWA Pad Live, where real projects are competing against each other, and we are getting their audiences, and we are having these viral moments of having these great judges. We're gonna basically launching these big demo days where in the crypto famous judges are going to be judges, and they're going to together with a community element, and they're going to judge projects that are going to compete against each other for this launchpad race, and that they're going to be building on the chain as well, where you see a new project coming on and building on the chain at the same time, and getting a pool and getting a race, and we getting their audience and they're getting our audience, and at the same time our investment platform is live, and it just shows finally that there's substance to everything that EstateX is doing, and getting some real projects out there with some viral moments and revenue generating that flows back into the token. So yeah, I mean, having that side coming down very shortly is an amazing feeling, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's a big step for you guys for sure. I mean, that in itself is quite interesting as well, having the because that's never really been done. I mean, we had a few tokens having that, the Dragon's Den type of thing, and they didn't really go too well. But doing it on a launchpad, I think that'll be quite interesting.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because competing for a launchpad race in a time that everybody wants a race is and especially with some projects that are very good that we have, but also with the judges that are going to be on there. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be exciting, and it's a great marketing element that we're going to use and utilize as well, of something that people want to see. They want to see some drama, they want to see some action, and they want to see projects doing good. So just some of the plans that we have and things that are going to be launching within the next couple of weeks. So that's some exciting stuff.
Exactly. And then when the layer one's ready, we're going to be doing a similar format for the layer one as well, where people can be competing for grants to build under layer one, and lots of other different things that we're going to be attaching to that too.
I think that's a really because that's how you grow your ecosystem realistically. I mean, if you're going to be a layer one, you need projects building on there. If you're going to be if you're going to launch a launchpad, you need projects launching on there. That's what a lot of projects struggle with. They have these ideas and stuff, but then when the launchpad's out, no one's really, and the layer one's out, no one's really building on them. A lot of these big layer ones as well right now, like for example, Sui, they're good layer ones, but realistically, no one's actually building on them, and that's one of the biggest issues, because most people that come out and they launch a project, they're either going on Ethereum, Solana, maybe Base now. I think Base is quite getting up there now. But I think that's having these incentives to actually launch on there, like raises, because right now when the crypto market's dead, no one wants to really put their money forward. Everyone's kind of scared. Having a platform that's generate them a little bit of money for their product, I think that's going to be quite massive as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, that is the whole vision here, right? If people see that there's actually money flowing in to the token on a regular basis, and you don't know when it happens, you know what I mean? This is a very interesting proposition, especially when the whole market is dead and everything is going down and everybody, sentiment is very low. Then green candles are the best way
that's
to
the best
attract new
way,
people, they say.
attention.
So Yeah, no, that's definitely an interesting proposition.
And as you mentioned before, it's just so important now that we focus on building, getting the foundation places, and building the actual real business as well. And it's good just to show people as well that we're not all talk, that we actually are doing the things. It's so easy for a project ahead of pre-sale to be able to say, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And even the projects that had a great launch like we did, we had one of the best launches of 2025. People are still tentative, but do they really have that integrity? Are they really going to be? I always say, whether it's a person, whether it's a business relationship, anybody in life, do not judge somebody or a company of when things are going well. Judge things when there's adversity, and how do they react? Do they shy away? Do they run away? Do they close down? Do they look elsewhere, or do they actually dig deep, grow, learn, and actually build stronger than ever? And that's what the SpaceX have been doing. We've literally, as somebody's just saying in the comments now, rough times. And me and Bart always use this analogy, sharpening the sword. You know what I mean? You can be going through a forest and, hacking down the trees, and you might, get to the second or third day and your axe is going to get blunt. Sometimes you need to take that time to stop, to slow down, to breathe, assess, sharpen your sword, and then you can actually go back out into the forest and then chop the trees down, just like you're starting again from day one. And some people burn themselves out. Some people will get drawn into a situation where they don't need to be drawn into, or some people feel the pressure and then obviously they fold, or it's a pump and dump, and the tokens are no more, the companies are no more. Whereas we've stopped, we've assessed, we've learnt, we've listened to our community, we've listened to our partners, we've listened to each other, we've sharpened the sword, we've built, and now we're ready to go and build the biggest city in town. And that's what it's all about, really. We're not just all talk. Actions speak louder than words. And when a lot of times where people would have thought that we would have been distracted or would have finished, we've actually gone bigger and better, and we're still going. So hopefully that says a lot to people about what we're doing and where we're going, and obviously for them to be able to look at the investment opportunity favorably.
Yeah, I think it's important to even do these AMAs. I mean, right now, the projects I'm following, a lot of them don't really do consistent AMAs. I think you guys are one of the only projects that do AMAs on a weekly basis, update the community on what they're doing. I think that's important as well, because during times like this, a lot of people tend to get doubts. Is the project going to survive? Is the team serious? Because they experience other rug pulls on other projects, and they kind of think the entire crypto space is like that. But having regular AMAs, updating the community on what you guys are building, what you guys are doing, what's coming up, I think that's very, very important for a project. Especially people that own the project.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's like now we're starting to pick things back up again. We did have that little lull where we wanted to sharpen the sword and assess and grow and build. And as Bart mentioned, Steve Cragg's former CEO of Remax coming on board and bringing on his team and the infrastructure, and us going behind the scenes with the licensing and the regulations, and make sure the platform's up to code and everything. All of these things that we're getting in place now really is important. And obviously we're going to be doing more internal AMAs. We've done a couple AMAs already this year internally, and we're obviously going to be doing external AMAs. And as we were saying at the start, backstage before we kicked off Crypto G, that it's doing an AMA in the Sunday evening and Sunday night for Barty. It's giving us reminiscence of pre-launch AMA marathon days where we're doing 3 or 4 AMAs per day. So we're going to start ramping that up as well. It's not just about internal AMAs, it's about the external AMAs as well. And we're going to be going to our launch partners, our advisors, and new people within the crypto space and also the Web2 space as well, and actually connecting and showing them StateX, showing them why we're still here, showing them why we're one of the highest, we were and we are the highest staked ICO on the market, with over 70% of our pre-sale tokens staked and locked for an average of 7 years, and why people believe that we are that long-term project. So it's very exciting times for AMAs, very exciting times for the Web2 side of things and the Web2 marketing that we're going to be kicking off very soon as well. So it's really time now to launch our pillars and to let the world know who exactly StateX is and what we're going to be doing and why we're so special.
Yeah, 100% agree, Steve. I think that's a lot of people tend to scream when marketing, but you guys actually do these marketing campaigns quite often as well, which I think is important. People oftentimes just look at the token. If the token's not doing 500x a day, then they tend to either call it a scam or move on. But I think right now in this current moment, I think you guys should just mainly focus on developing. Once once everything is out there, once all the products are done, then I think you guys can potentially do some big marketing at that point if the market allows it. If the market is dead,
Exactly.
there's no point marketing. It's a waste of money in my opinion.
Exactly, and we agree. I mean, we are going to be ramping up the marketing regardless, leading up to the fact that the tokens are coming. Obviously, we want to be letting as many people know as possible of the great investment opportunity, the great growth potential. A lot of people, when they saw, the 15, 20x at launch or whatever it was, a lot of people think, oh, shit, well, I wish I'd have got in when it was at this price. I wish I got in there. And so with people, yeah, exactly. They have that second round opportunity now. So we do want to obviously be able to let people that have been around the project and part of our launch partners, and especially your great community and so on and so forth, know what's happening and know obviously, what's been happening over the last, 3-4 months and what's going to be happening. So obviously people have the opportunity to kind of like accumulate. But yeah, we completely agree that number one priority is building and getting the foundations in place and really setting us apart from other projects, other RWA projects. And that's when we can really ramp up the big marketing.
100%. Yeah. Can you just talk about this AIEX, just for the people that's not aware of this, because I know quite a few people are not aware of this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. One thing, hold that thought, Bart. I'll let you go on to the AIESX. And one thing just to add onto the marketing side of things and the foundational side of things, and we mentioned this in a previous AMA, is our website. Our website is great for Web3, but obviously our website is really from, a couple of years ago when we were really just focusing on tokenizing real estate, where now it's all about obviously us being an L1, the platform that we have and everything else like that. So our website needs a whole revamp, a whole overhaul as well. So, we're going to be having landing pages for Web3, but we're also going to be having landing pages for, retail property investors, because some people are just going to come that want to buy property. They want to invest in real estate for as little as $100. We're still going to be one of the most accessible real estate tokenization platforms on the planet. And also, you're going to have more corporate people that are going to be wanting to invest into the bigger side of things, and the family offices are going to be wanting to invest in some of our bigger $1 million investments and some of these great things and resorts and massive developments worldwide that Steve Craggs have been looking at. And then you're going to have some people that, like, the governments and so on and so forth, that want to white label the technology, that want to take our technology, put their branding on it and have it bespoke to them. And you're going to have some people that are going to be more of our StateX VIPs or some of our high-end gold or diamond unicorns, that they're going to want to have a white label service where Steve Craggs can have a one-on-one building their property portfolio, tokenizing with them as well. So we want to have different sections of the website that speak to the different angles of how we're growing and progressing. We're way more than just a Web3 token. We're way more than just the tokenizing real estate now. So we're going to be, over the next several weeks, updating the website and having a whole new ecosystem online, so that when we do the marketing, we can have the different campaigns and funnel the different target audiences to the different parts of the website, capture the data, get the call to action, and get them, to where they need to be as well. So that's a big part of what we're going to be doing, and that's going to see a massive shift in the quality of users that we're going to be having, the quality of investors that we're going to be attracting, and the growth of the company. And all of this is in the works and happening very, very soon.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more, and I'll tap into the AI ESX. So basically, we recently released like this flywheel article. I got it here, perfect. So
I'll post the link in the chat in case people want to read it.
Yeah, that's great. There was also, by the way, the article that was pitching when we were not live, when I thought we were live at the beginning. But basically, this whole AI ESX is what we're building, and which we have built, and which is going to be we're going to be releasing a beta of this also very, very soon, as a sort of a follow-up. We don't stand still. It's not like, L1 beta is live and now what's next? You know what I mean? We got a lot of things in the pipeline, and this is one of them. And basically, the AI agent, how it's going to start is we're going to have this AI agent that basically sources, manages, and gets the very best deals for you, the very best property deals. So it sources the very best deals from a database from our CEO, Steve Craggs, who is obviously, has a massive real estate background, a very rich history, and a lot of great successful deals. And obviously he has tens of thousands of brokers within his network, etc., all with active property deals. And basically within his network, we're going to be uploading this database of properties, of amazing property deals everywhere worldwide, where you can basically source the very best property deals according to your wishes. So you can fill out your risk appetite, what you want to select on, how much revenue you want to accumulate, what is your budget, do you want it to be residential or whatever, does it need to have a lot of work, or does it need to be managed, or anything you would want. And then it's going to source the very best property opportunities for you and tell you why it's the best one, all done by our developed AI model. And that is the free version basically, and that attracts a lot of new users because people now can have a way more efficient way of being able to source properties instead of they have to go to a broker's agent, or they need to call this portfolio company to see what they have or see what they can get, which also costs money. But now they can just log into a site and get all these deals, all these data based on what they want in minutes, when just on their laptop. So it's a very efficient way of being able to source the very best property deals. And on top of that, we're going to have a premium version as well. And this premium version, which is able to be unlocked with AI ESX, from now on, you can do basically the bidding, the negotiation, the management of the property, and a lot more stuff. So there's going to be a very exclusive premium version that basically does everything on top of the sourcing, managing the portfolio, letting you know when the rent is paid, all of that stuff, you know what I mean? And that is going to be unlocked with AI ESX, going to be the utility behind it, why people should buy it, etc., etc. So yeah, if you have, an audience of, let's say, buyers worldwide, or people that are interested in portfolios, to be able to put the next step, they're going to be needing to buy AI ESX, which is just a massive database that you can tap into if you have this product that being able, that makes sourcing of properties so much more efficient and so much better. And then for the value creation, revenue is used to be able to buy ESX off the market with that. So the revenue buys back the ESX. And this is all done on the ESX blockchain. So this is also for the gas fees, etc., etc. So this is also activity on the ESX blockchain. You know what I mean? If the property is tokenized and gets sold on the blockchain, and the transactions are made on the blockchain, etc., etc. And then obviously, with a higher ESX value, it's going to be attracting more people to the ecosystem. It's going to be attracting more people to be able to buy into our RWA projects that we have via RWA-pad. And with RWA-pad, there's going to be the revenue is going to be used to buy ESX off the market again. And obviously, to be able to access these projects, you're going to need to have a certain amount of ESX, etc. So it basically it all feeds into each other, this whole flywheel, and that is basically what the article describes of the ecosystem and the projects that we're going to be launching. RWA-pad, the L1 chain, and the AI agent, they're all going to be launching this month, and they all feed into each other and basically have as center that there's going to be buybacks happening with the revenue to be able to stimulate the ESX growth and price increase. So basically, in a nutshell, that's it.
Yeah, and just for people to that know as well, you can only get access to this if you stake the ESX token, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I got a question actually from the audience, so let me just see if this guy. So it was focus has shifted from initially from 6-7 pillars, RWA, ASX, whatever. Just wondering why the order shifted, more efficient in sequence, sooner revenue in TSX. That's a good question.
Yeah, it is a good question, and just want to clarify, it hasn't us doing the L1 and the RWA-pad and the AI ESX isn't taking away from any of the other things that we're looking to do with the Statex Pay, with instant loans, and everything else. That's still all in progress. But we wanted to make sure that obviously, we're talking about building foundations. You can have a tokenization real estate project, but if you have a tokenization real estate project that has its own high quality RWA-pad, RWA launchpad, and then all backed by and supported by the L1 blockchain, it's obviously just a different story. You know what I mean? If you have one project that's just doing what we're doing, then you have another project that's an L1 blockchain, then you know what I mean? It just takes us to a whole other level. So as you mentioned before, there's no point doing crazy marketing. There's no point doing crazy things until we've actually built the foundations. We believe the blockchain side of things is a massive foundation, and obviously the launchpad links directly with the blockchain. And then what we want to do with AISX and the AI tech and the AI platform that Bart was talking about as well, it all just fits in nicely with each other. So it just makes our foundations 10 times even stronger, so that when we do launch EstateX Pay and the other ecosystems, we're going to be in even more of a stronger situation. So I just want to clarify that this is to enhance everything that we already had planned, not to replace.
Yeah, and also just to add on that, these were things that already, you know, were planned for a very long time. So it's not that the focus has been shifted. You know, all these things were already, I think we've already announced them for over a year, or, you know, especially
it's been
over 6 months.
at
So
least.
yeah, so these things are not, you know, brand new and everything is gone and we shifted this back in. And also we don't have to shy away from the fact that obviously it's important to get, you know, revenue buybacks into ESX as well. We don't have to shy away from the fact, obviously, you know what I mean? End of the day, we are a company and we launch products, and people launch products because there's potential in it, and there's potential in it. Also due to the fact that there are buybacks made of the revenue, you know what I mean? So we don't have to shy away from that. So like Steve said, it all feeds very nicely into each other. It's a sequence that follows up nicely, and it doesn't mean that all the other products are not, you know, in the works or planned, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think that's important anyways. I mean, you kind of have what you kind of need some revenue generating now, and then when the actual product's live again, you know, that will be generating even more revenue. And I think that's going to be important as well for the overall longevity of the project as well.
100%. When we're launching the rest of our pillars this year, we want to make sure that EstateX is in the strongest position possible.
Yeah.
And obviously, everything that we have here and what you guys see in front of you on your screens with the flywheel is putting us in the opportunity to be at the strongest situation possible, putting us that one step closer to being the main authority in RWA. So when we're launching all these other pillars, it's just going to get received even better than we could have ever imagined. So yeah, we're very happy with the strategy, and you know, things are looking strong.
I got one more question. I think you've kind of already answered this pretty much, you know, because I don't think with you guys, it doesn't really matter because you got such a strong Web2 foundation with Steve Craig that, you know, no matter how the market condition is, you guys will still have, you know, properties coming in, you know, and a bunch of other stuff happening in the Web2 space that doesn't really affect the Web3 space that much, does it? But
well, you know, but we don't have to be naive. You know, the crypto market will always matter to some extent for, you know,
yeah, for the
prices.
token itself.
Yeah, for token prices, that's always going to be the case. You know what I mean? So it's never that, you know, ESX is all fully 100% decoupled from any market activity that there is. But that, you know, that's not happening. But what it does create is a sort of a what we've always said is basically this, in this time where everything is horrible, so to say, it does create the potential for a token that performs well even when the market is bad, because of the consistent revenue inflows due to, you know, the revenue is used for the buybacks. So there's always going to be some market influence to some extent. However, it can be decoupled from the market as much as possible, way more than other tokens, because if the Web2 business behind it performs well, with property sales, with the AI agent running well, with project launching on the launchpad, with secondary market place sales to be made, with projects building on the chain, that type of stuff, that means that Web2 revenue will flow back into the ESX token, and you're going to have positive performance throughout a market period which isn't good or which is bad, make it stand out from the rest of the competition that there is, and could still have the positive performance despite other tokens not having that positive performance. So that is what the potential of the token is, and that is what makes it a potential bear market performing token, in the sense of that it could always have this inflow, while other tokens are dependent fully 100% on the crypto cycles, ESX can be decoupled from that in a way where if the Web2 business behind it performs well, which is not dependent on bear and bull cycles, then the inflow and thus positive effect on ESX is as well.
100%, completely agree. And the way I see it is that obviously we're very early stages at the moment, which is obviously, like I say, great exciting times for people with the token at the moment, and people that may want to invest right now. But we're going to be launching so much. So all of this stuff where we're talking about bear market hedge and performing positively in the bear market, that's going to be in place. That's about to get put in place. All of these sort of things in place. So you guys haven't seen nothing yet. So once we have all of these things in place that Bart mentioned, and then imagine when the L1's in full swing and we have, you know, multi-platinum selling music artists on there, sports teams, sports leagues, all of this Web2 inflow, especially all of the great properties from the, you know, the retail, the corporate, the institutions from Steve Craggs, and everything else that we're going to be having on our ecosystem, the governments, the white labels. There's going to be so much deal flow, so much revenue that can be flown back into the token. So when people are seeing that, you know, the market's down, so to speak, and our token is still performing positively, it's going to be giving us even more attraction. It's going to be adding more to the flywheel, because people are going to be looking at ESX and thinking, okay, what is the reason why ESX is performing better than other projects within this market? And they're going to be seeing the utilities, seeing the ecosystem, seeing a lot of the buybacks, all of this Web2 inflow and everything, things that I've mentioned, that Bart's mentioned, and obviously it's going to be making us send out even more as well. So sometimes actually, you know, us going into a certain bear market, once we have some things in place, I think it's going to really expose who are going to be the strong RWA projects versus, you know, the projects that are just focusing on the Web3. So as mentioned, a big part of our building is to kind of break out of just being this Web3 bubble and to be extremely strong within Web2, which would mean that, you know, we have that opportunity to perform positively in that bear market. Because as I always say, like, heaven forbid, if crypto goes away tomorrow or Bitcoin completely crashes, people are still going to be wanting to buy properties. People are still going to be wanting to buy musicians and stream things from their favorite artists. People are still going to be going to watch sports games. The world still continues. So us bringing the real world into the RWA and laying down these foundations right now in the Web2 as well as the Web3 is really going to help us perform positively in any conditions.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. I think nothing in crypto is going to get decoupled from Bitcoin going down. If Bitcoin goes down 30%, I think it's 30% the last, or 35% the last 2-3 months, you know, low caps, high caps, anything will crash at least 40, 50, 60%. So, you know, the Web3 space is they all follow Bitcoin anyway, so that's just how it is. But, you know, if you have a strong ecosystem, you can perform or go, you know, maybe come down a lot less than a bunch of these other projects who have no token utility at all, which I think is important as well.
Definitely, and you know, climb up from
100%.
there. I mean, that is what that's how we designed the token. You know what I mean? Even if there is an initial crash, to be able to climb up from there. So, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up, Steve, Bot?
Steve, anything you want to say about the upcoming product launches as a closure?
I think we've kind of gone over, you know, pretty
extensively,
I think.
What was that, Bart?
No, I said, is there anything that you want to share as a closure for the upcoming product launch?
I think my signal. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Not really. I mean, we've gone over most of it. So I think, apologies, I think I'm having a bit of connection issues. But if you guys can still hear me, I think we've covered most of it. The main thing is just...
Steve crashed.
Yeah, that was Steve. Anyway, I'll close it out. So, yeah, G, appreciate your time. And great that you wanted to do this, AMA. You know, we really appreciate your support and how we've always been in great touch over the coming weeks. So definitely, if any of you guys want to know anything about the market in general, definitely follow G and his recommendations and his live streams, because he's going to be picking it up now again. So, definitely follow him. But aside from that, guys, we got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, and in the next week, just had a look at how ESX performed when our platform launched, which was somewhere in November, and Early December. So yeah, we're going to be launching the beta of the L1 chain with community activation there as well. We're going to be starting RWA-pad and some demo days for RWA-pad where projects are going to be competing to each other, and we're going to have some crypto famous judges on there to be able to select projects competing for a race, and a lot more stuff that we have coming up with AI ESX, and also the opening up of sales for properties. So first was reservation with the property launches, but now the payments are going to open up as well. And it's going to be always a continuous stream of real estate for people to invest in on our platform. And then obviously, you know, throughout Q1, throughout Q2, more products are going to be launched. So it's going to be very exciting times from now on with hopefully the revenue buybacks, positive performance of ESX, and the product launches that we have. So yeah, it's going to be exciting, and it's all going to kick off from now.
Steve's back. Let's add him up. Let's see if Steve's got anything.
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you fine now, Steve.
All right. Yeah, a couple of technical difficulties on my side, just signal. Yeah, no, I think we've covered a lot of it. I think just the main thing is just now is, from our humble opinion, as I mentioned before, the token is heavily discounted. Great opportunity for people that are interested in the project to do their own research, have a look at obviously the AMAs that we've done previously, have a look at the token, have a look at what we've got coming out, and obviously, you know, judge for yourself the opportunity. But the main thing is just keep an eye out for the end of this month where we have the L1 RWA beta that's going to be coming out, and then also the RWA launchpad as well platform that's going to be launching at the end of this month, and some amazing things that we've mentioned and some nice surprises that's going to be happening, you know, in February and beyond as well. So, you know, don't look at everything from a short-term perspective. Please look at it from a long-term perspective. Even though the short-term and the medium-term looking great, there is a reason why we are one of the highest-staked ICOs in the market. And, you know, we just want to thank you, Crypto G. I know that you haven't done many of these AMAs and many of these live streams, and I know Bart reached out to you a day or two ago just to let you know what we've got going on, and you said yes instantly, no hesitation, to be able to kick off this little mini AMA marathon that we're going to be having coming up externally. So, you know, shout out to you, shout out to your community, and shout out to the StateX family as well. You know, it's all of our earliest supporters, our early adopters like 100%. You guys, that gives us that motivation to keep going and to keep building. And as we said before, it's just very exciting times. Any questions that you or your community have, jump over into the StateX Telegram, StateX Official on Telegram, ask any questions, and yeah, be along for the ride. Very exciting things happening. Lots that's coming in the next coming days and next coming weeks, and love for you guys to be part of the journey and continue part of the journey as well. So just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys as well for coming on my channel as well, Steve. But you know, I think it's been a while since we last spoke as well, and I think it was quite important as well for me to update my community as well, because I know a lot of them invested into ESX, you know, including the private community and, you know, my YouTube community. So I think, you know, just giving them the heads up of what's to come, you know, that you guys are still here building. I think that's very important to potentially bring some confidence back into the project. You know, a lot of people oftentimes just look at the price action and think, oh, the project's a scam, or the project's, you know, but that's, if the crypto market is down in general, everything will go down. It doesn't mean the project is a scam. It just means that, you know, everything's pegged to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down 30-35% in the space of a month, which it did after the October crash, you know, and we had that big liquidation event, that's a lot of money that's out of the markets, you know, and it will take some time for the market to actually heal. But during that time, you know, as a project or as anyone, the only thing you can do as a project is continue to build. And, you know, the fact that you guys are doing that, I think that's very important.
100%. And I'll just end on this, and to echo what I said before is, don't judge a project when it's doing well and at its top. Even though, yes, we had one of the best launches of 2025 and we're very proud of that. Judge a project when obviously things are down in the market, when things are down on the chart. How is that project reacting? What is that project doing? What is that project saying? What is that project building? What does the next couple of weeks look like? The next couple of months look like for that project? And that will give you your answer. You know what I mean? Actions speak louder than words. And we're here to kind of continue walking the walk, not just talking the talk. And you know, we want to show you guys what we're made of, and the fact that we're here still building, still growing rapidly, than much more than a lot of average projects out there, says a lot, really. So like we said before, actions speak louder than words. So, you know, it's time to show you guys some more action.
Definitely. But anything else you want to say as well, or should we just end the live stream?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, but
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, so
You're on mute,
no, I did my
but
yeah, so I said my piece, I think, before Steve logged off. So
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Perfect.
Great closure, and yeah, man, it was great catching up with you and your audience.
Definitely.
So yeah, definitely should do it sometime again. This way, this time sooner.
Yeah,
than,
we'll do
6
it
months.
again. I think we'll do it in a few months' time after everything is live, and then we
Sure.
can go over what's to come again. I think that'll be
Cool.
quite good for my community. All right, guys. Appreciate
Sounds
you guys for watching. Hit the likes as well. I'll see you guys. I'll be live tomorrow just to go over the overall market overview.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right.
Cheers.
Nice
Thank
one,
you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.